On this show, we follow the money, and when VSiN decided to launch our own store, the smart money was on Shopify. Getting the VSiN store off the ground was easier than we expected, and Shopify's templates and AI tools had us look incredible and professional from day one. Zero coding required. Shopify checkout keeps sales moving smoothly, and returning customers can complete a purchase in one click. Built-in analytics, you always know what's selling and where your customers are coming from and how to keep the momentum going. When questions come up, and they will, Shopify's AI assistant Sidekick is there with answers so you never lose momentum. You can check out the store at vsin.com/store. And if you're ready to build your own, all you need is the idea. Shopify handles the rest. Start your free trial at shopify.com/vsin. Shopify.com/vsin. Again, that's shopify.com/vsin.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Yes, here we go. Follow the money. Paulie Howard, Dustin Sweetelson. Big program coming up. Red Sox do it again. Wet blanket Dustin with his pick on Game 2 coming up. Jeff Seeley to talk golf. Brian Mahoney, NBA and LeBron. Bruce Marshall, SEC, live from SEC Media Day. Day 3, Doug Kazarian. ESPN layoffs, WNBA, what's going on in Portland, embarrassing for the league, and do you concur? And Dustin with a great idea, and this is, everyone talks about Cruz, Pacino, De Niro, Hanks. What a resume Matt Damon has, ranking his top 10 roles, which we'll get to after win-lose. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you.
All right, and 3 hours of Odyssey coverage, because Paulie Howard won't shut up about this movie. I went and saw it after I got done with VSiN Primetime last night.
Team player.
Rolled in, and you complained about the previews, and that inspired me. I could have went to a 9 o'clock. Instead, I rolled up at 8:30. I was at the ticket window at 8:31. I said, you know what? I'm going to see if I can get in the 8:31, go get my popcorn, go get my soda and whatever, and get in. There was still like 7 previews left by the time I got in there. That one scary one with the second mom, that one got my heart going. I need to go back on blood pressure meds after seeing that one preview. The Odyssey, you've been hyping it up. I'll deliver my thoughts on it throughout the program today. There were things I loved, some things I didn't like. But anyone who's worried about spoilers potentially with us talking about this movie, I want to remind you that it was written 2,700 years ago. We know how it ends.
Yes, very good. Well said, my friend. Red Sox do it again. They win 6-3. Game 1 of a doubleheader, 15 in a row. Same cast of characters. Durbin's been great. Contreras, and they roll on again. Solid pitching performance. This is quite the story. And if they can keep this going, they now tie the franchise record. They can break it with a win coming up tonight in 3 hours. Suarez goes, his first appearance in a while. But you think Baltimore's going to get it done and end this streak?
Look, you're not supposed to do the do theory thing, but I like Kyle Bradish. I don't love him as much on the road, but Boston's got to be feeling so high. The one thing I'll give Baltimore a chance with, and they didn't do it against Bennett, who's been awesome. Bennett's been a big reason why this surge has happened, but they're not great with OPS. They're not great with average against lefties. They do hit home runs. I think with Suarez, maybe not able to be as effective, not go as deep into the game. I am thinking about Baltimore -1.5. It's +168. That is just a big number in a spot where I know all the momentum's on Boston's side, but at some point this has got to end. Also, it reminds me of Major League. When he hits the homer and he goes too high, too soon. Peaking too soon. I know they're back in the mix and they're relevant, but I don't know if you can keep this up all the way to the end of the season and then into the playoffs as well.
Yeah, also have another doubleheader with the Yankees being rained out yesterday. Cole was great, 11 strikeouts, but made one mistake. Rice goes deep in the 7th to tie it at 3. Now the Pirates have the lead in the top of the 10th. 5-3, still batting, 2 on, 1 out. And Cole deserved a better fate in that one. And they couldn't get to Keller, who's been horrendous, and that surprised me. And you are sweating the Brewers, who lead 3-2 at home against the Mets in the top of the 6th.
Ooh, don't love that, but part of the handicap there was if you look Milwaukee, the first 2 games of this series, they didn't use Ashby, they didn't use Uribe, they didn't use McGill. They had all their best arms available to win the series 2 out of 3 here. So that was part of the reason why I backed them. Aside from just liking Logan Henderson, I think Logan Henderson, with the Woodruff injury, he has the chance to be a really special arm for them if at some point they decide to actually unleash him and let him go. And he's cooking today, I think 9 strikeouts.
Yeah, that's what he had last check as well. Did you get involved in that market today? The daily special you did?
I did.
Sandy?
Yeah, I did Alcantara 20-1, but the Henderson number is kind of going to kill it. I didn't even look at what Logan Henderson was. I can't imagine he was all that all that short of a number.
Well, Cole had 11 though.
Oh,
so that's what you got to face.
Oh, then I don't have a shot.
You're in trouble.
I don't have a shot.
Yeah, okay. You're in trouble. And this game exploded in Kansas City, 5-3 Royals. Still betting in the bottom of the 7th against the Giants. And underway in Seattle, no score. Also Arizona as well. How about the Phillies? What a way to lose a game.
I was on the Phillies last night.
So did I.
And I
was on them too. It's ridiculous.
We had a chance. We had hope. Real Muto, I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, one, Crawford's in a tough spot leading off third. It's hit right at Muncy, who he's standing like face to face with. Your only hope is that Muncy's such a butcher in the field that he's going to throw it away. And he just tries to get into a rundown. I don't know why Real Muto isn't just standing on third and just waiting, because you just need a runner on third. That is the objective here. Him going back to second is completely irrelevant. Gets thrown out trying to go back to second. The game's over. Philly should have won that game. But how about Robleski? This guy keeps getting it done. We keep betting against him. The analytics people say he can't do it. And he's been tremendous for them. And then Wheeler down to 7.5-1 for National League Cy Young. Do you have any exposure?
No, would you add more?
50. I have 50-1. Right, first start 50-1,
right?
25-1, and then 16-1 a couple weeks ago. I didn't know if he was going to look like the old Wheeler.
Awesome.
Thoracic outlet surgery. Remember Matt Harvey after it? He had a little like different version of it. It wasn't quite as expansive as what Harvey went with. Dude, the chip on his shoulder. He had 9 strikeouts last night. I think the All-Star game was also a good thing for him. I think he's out to prove something. And if you look at him, I don't know. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but it's like the one thing he's missing from one of the borderline careers. Zach Wheeler is a Cy Young Award.
He cashed the most strikeouts, daily special, 8-1. Again, deserved a better fate. Made one mistake, and the Phillies couldn't score, and they lose 2-1. Are you thinking they're going to win the National League, though? That's still going to be tough if you got to face Wheeler and Sanchez.
I bet them 7-1. I still believe in them. I think they're worth the look to win the World Series. I mean, there's a chance we're all just this is a fool's errand, just trying to go against the Dodgers here. But if you're setting up a series, and some teams are built better for the postseason than they are for the regular season.
Yep.
If you can give me Sanchez, Wheeler, Luzardo, and who knows what Dombrowski's the GM. Mm-hmm. This window's closing. They've got to make moves. They've got to be aggressive. I anticipate them adding a couple of impact guys, whether it's arms, whether it's backups, bats. They definitely need a bullpen piece because Keller went down. I just think if you're looking at who could potentially take down the Dodgers, well, the Brewers were just swept a year ago in the NLCS. Atlanta, after Chris Sale, there's not a lot to believe in the rotation. You're going to need to do it with elite arms. And to me, that's Philadelphia. And the only other option, the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Okay.
Set up Paul Skeens 3 times. I took a little 35-1 to win the National League last night.
Okay. All right, more baseball coming up in play, and we'll go over tonight's card, which is loaded and stacked. Coming up, Paulie and Dustin VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. The Theater of the Absurd continues. Day 23 with LeBron. Luke sent me a text last night with what was going on with Kalshi. A big move on the Heat. I said, now what happened?
No.
The stuff, so the Miami Heat, and VSiN retweeted it when it happened, posted a link to their live stream titled LeBron James Intro Press Conference, July 27th. Apparently that person was fired, but they said, don't read too much into what we are just preparing in case he comes here. It's standard practice in media and with pro sports teams. But as a result, another huge move. It's the highest he's been at DraftKings. Miami now minus 225, and he's over 50% at Kalshi now. This is absurd what's going on. And he still doesn't have. So I actually think this happened because I trust my guys in Cleveland because they know everyone and they're connected. I actually think he said and made up his mind it was going to be Cleveland. And then somehow met with Riley, and he changed his mind.
Oh.
That's what I think what happened. Because there's no way that we should be on day 23, and we still don't know an announcement. And as Rizzo told me today, something's fishy. Miami, 50%, Cleveland, 27% on Kalshi.
June 26th, I bet the Cavs to win the title 45-1. The East, 15-1. all hoping that this was going to happen. I'm not wavering. I still think it's Cleveland. Here's what we're going to find out. This is my conspiracy with all of this. LeBron James always wants to be special. And I think that part of milking this is not just for the attention. LeBron James, I think, is going to announce he's a partner with Kalshi. That's the only thing that makes sense.
No kidding, yeah.
He's going to announce that I am a partner with Kalshi. He's getting a cut of this. He wants to have like the biggest potential market that's ever been bet on there.
Dustin, it's up to $200 million in the market. I mean, come on.
It's not real. It's not a real market. The movement isn't real. The movement is off of other people believe and start betting on it, and then it reacts that way, and everyone thinks that that's the truth. Are we just sleeping on like the legacy factor of LeBron? And what is to you when you think about him, a guy who cares about what people think about him,
right?
A guy who's always been very sensitive to where he stands, where he ranks, how he's perceived among the greats. Which team atop that board, whether it's Cleveland, it's Golden State, it's Philadelphia, it's Miami, which one is the one that the guy that LeBron James who has the rabbit ears out, which one makes the most sense for that?
It's still Cleveland.
It's always Cleveland.
Yes, it's got to be. And plus what the moves are going to be once he announces he's going there. And the other thing too, then Morris had a tweet today, like Harden to the Suns.
Yeah, Jalen Green.
Right. But to your point though, like if Embiid goes out to dinner tonight and someone films him and he asks him on camera, hey, what do you think? Oh, we got him. We have it locked down. That'll move the market too and go crazy. So we saw the big move on Cleveland yesterday, which is a result of a guy on X who has 10,000 followers, some basketball coach in Ohio saying he's coming home. And that made the Cavs the favorites again, and it flipped now after what happened in Miami with the YouTube stuff.
What would be more impressive for his legacy? The championship in 2016 with the Cavs or winning James Harden a championship?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but at this point, they said they'll be okay with it either way. If it's Miami, the Cavs fans can go along with that and accept it.
How about this?
But
I still like Cleveland without him. I know that's weird based on how last year went.
Yeah, well, I have to see some of the moves they make and tinker with that roster. But the other thing is, this is also true. I think he had his mind made up, and then Adam Silver said, let's wrap it up, Janice. Come on. We have to make the schedule. And they said, okay, we'll give him the middle finger, and now we're going to take – that's essentially your boss saying, let's go. And they gave him the middle finger and said, we're going to take longer now. This guy's a drama queen.
As a longtime LeBron guy, I would tell you this. He makes himself very difficult to defend. It's very hard to be a LeBron guy and defend what he does off the court. On the floor, he's a brilliant mind. He's a brilliant ability. He's one of the greatest players you'll ever see that can do everything. Off the court, he is very tough to make a case for why he's a good dude.
MLB in play up next, and numbers you won't believe on Lauer. I'm going to put you on the Dodgers coming up next on VSiN. Follow the money, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158. So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
17 games today in Major League Baseball. Red Sox do it again. They win 6-3. Game 2 coming up. Yankees now down to their final out. If this holds, that means the Yankees would have lost 5 of the last 6 games started by Cole. And Fried goes in Game 2. Good numbers career against the Pirates. Yankees have been strong with the #1 ERA with their bullpen going back. You want to take some Fried, or are you going to ride with the Pirates in Game 2 of the doubleheader?
Yeah, I mean, I got to see what this bullpen looks like tonight for the Yankees. I mean, you already don't trust it to begin with. And so far today, they use 4 guys in a losing effort. I'd want to back Fried, but that first
How long is he going?
Yeah, first game off the IL. What do you get, 5 innings out of him? Maybe 6 if you're lucky.
$1.90.
I don't know if I can do that. Now, this game's not over. That's currently on, by the way. It's 2 outs. Jazz is up. Lefty on lefty. 5-3 Pirates with the lead. Pirates bullpen, not exactly something you believe in either. I don't like Bubba Chandler. I think he's got a live arm. I think he's got a lot of potential, but he's not quite there yet. I kind of think about the over in that game.
I'll go along with that.
Pittsburgh has pretty good numbers against lefties.
Can hit. Yep. Tampa Bay, do it again. Get the broom out. 7-1 this year against the Blue Jays. Toronto, all kinds of issues. They're in that. They've lost 15 of 22, total of 8. Jax goes $1.10 at DraftKings, and it's just 6 back now with a wild card. 4 runs last 4 games.
Nah, they're done.
Yep. Tampa on pace for 94 wins. And Tampa's 28-1 this year when they also out-homer their opponent. I am with you. They are done, and they have certainly owned the Jays this year. Good price, I think, with Tampa coming up in a couple hours.
No, yeah, the only concern is Griffin Jax. You know, it's a lot of innings for a guy who's been a reliever his whole career. Now he's been extended as a starter for a good chunk of this season at this point. Got hit his last go-around at Boston. I don't know if I trust him as much on the road. That's the only concern in back in Tampa Bay, but if you're just looking at the matchup, I can't believe how bad the Toronto offense is. Vlad Guerrero Jr. doesn't hit home runs anymore. What's the point of paying a guy if he's not going to hit a home run?
Yep.
Dude, I don't need you to hit 300. Give me 250 and give me 35 bombs. That's why you're getting paid big bucks. We need you to drive in runs, make some sparks happen.
Is it not Suarez now? There's going to be Rivera for Boston.
That's why I got
$1.25 now in game 2.
It moved. I went Orioles -1.5. It was down to +159. It was +168 like 20 minutes ago. I'm in. I took the Orioles. Bradis leaves a lot to be desired on the road. And I don't love the idea of backing a guy coming off signing a contract extension either, where he knows his future's kind of safe. But at some point, this has got to end. I want to capitalize here. I think this could be a good spot where they're playing a doubleheader, where they're feeling too good about things. Give me the option where I've got the better starting pitcher with Bradish. Hopefully he goes deeper into this game, and Baltimore can somehow get to the lefty on the bump.
Okay, since 1961, we've had 7 15-plus winning streaks. Make it 8 now. And Boston, 22 home runs, 29 runs allowed coming in to the first game 1, which they just won. They've won 20 of 22. They've won 10 in a row against the division. Came out of nowhere. What a story. Incredible what they've done. And you can get them at a cheap price tonight, but you made a compelling case for Baltimore. They've owned the division. It's funny how it started against the Yankees, but this is madness, what's going on, and how, much like the Phillies, though, that they got a kick in the ass as the Yankees lose with the managerial change.
How's Chad Tracy not the favorite for manager of the year?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Will Venables +115. Kevin Cash is +250. Tracy 7.5 to 1.
He tied the record.
Oh, he did?
For a guy who didn't start the season as the manager for the longest winning streak, yeah.
With Alex Cora, they went 10-17. They had a 6.67 OPS and a 4.44 ERA. With Tracy, 10 games above 500. Well, now 11 games, 42-31, 7.29 OPS, a 3.22 ERA. He's doing it without Garrett Crochet and Roman Anthony, your best pitcher and your best hitter coming into the season.
Good case.
How's that not the manager of the year?
I know. I'm going to put you on the Dodgers. Lauer and the Dodgers.
I'm on it.
$1.20, a fade of Nola as well. Total of 9.5. Tough loss last night, as we talked about, but they are the best record in one-run games. Philadelphia 19-7. But once you get past that big 3, which you were talking about, you throw Nola and some of these other guys in the 5th starter. It's been unmitigated disaster. 14-31 is their record. Dodgers are 7-0 going back when Lauer pitches. Great numbers against the Phillies. He hasn't started in the last 16 days, though. But this seems like a good price. And Mookie rakes against Nola, career 4.20 average. I think the Dodgers get the Phillies, and they can get the bats going tonight.
Eric Lauer, he is Max Muncy. He is Chris Taylor. He is another cast off from a bunch of organizations that the Dodgers somehow turn into something. He isn't spectacular, but he's effective. He's way more effective than Aaron Nola right now. Philly also not great numbers against lefties this year, which is really weird for them. 24th in OPS, 26th in average. He threw 4 shutout innings against the Phillies a year ago. Aaron Nola, a 6.5 home ERA, a 5.60 ERA, and his last 5 overall starts. Eric Lauer, 17-2 straight up when the total's 8.5 to 10 going back to 2025. 7-0 since 2025 versus teams hitting below 255. Give me the Dodgers, who are 33-19 on the road and 46-26 against right-handed starters this year.
All right, I want your thoughts on this in the late game. I went with the Astros.
I don't hate it.
Fade brigade with Miami. It is sandy, But boy, they've been bad. And now they've lost 8 in a row, 21 runs during the losing streak. At Fangraphs, their odds to make the playoffs plummeted from 51% to 17% now. Alvarez still the Triple Crown leader, 326, 33, and 75. $1.15 at DraftKings, total of 8 with Sandy. Yeah, you mentioned you bet the daily special, but
no, but Pete Lambert.
Yeah.
He's as hot as Al Lambert. You know who Al Lambert is? It's the girl in Step by Step. Okay. Remember that show? Step by Step, TGI Fridays. Pete Lambert, dude, he's coming off 10 strikeouts against Baltimore.
Yeah.
Houston is a really fascinating case the rest of the way.
Right.
If Hunter Brown gets right and goes back to his old form pre-injury, if this Lambert thing is legit, if Arrighetti can just be respectable, right? He has some issues with some of the analytics, but if their pitching ever gets going, they have enough offense to still maybe even win that division.
Yeah. Where are you at with the White Sox? K's $1.25 on the road against the Rangers.
You know what?
That was bizarre. Rocker had been so bad.
Yeah.
And he was awesome, and they won 10-0.
He also has weird splits. I think he has reverse splits where he's better on the road than he is at home, which doesn't make sense. Anthony Kay is, not an overpowering lefty. I don't love the Texas offense on the season, but I do believe since Wyatt Langford has returned, they've been much more impressive. So because of that, I would lean looking at Texas, but I don't have a strong opinion on that one.
Okay, Braves and Padres, also 4:15 Pacific. Perez has been terrible. 0-3 with an ERA of 7 going back. King has been good. Where did that offense come from last night with the Padres? Machado's been hot. I'll give him that. But the big three all were excellent in the win yesterday. I was surprised by that. But Perez, $1.20, total of 8.5. I don't mind the Padres here. It's a fate of Perez.
I took the Padres even money, but I have to preface it with this, Paulie. And we all have this team, this player, this person. Like in college football, Iowa football. If I bet on Iowa, they get crushed. If I bet against Iowa, they dominate. Martin Perez is that for me in baseball. When I fade this guy, he's Cy Young.
Yep.
When I back him, he's terrible. I'm going up against him. I'm getting in front of him with San Diego. Michael King had 7 shutout innings against Atlanta less than a month, or exactly a month ago. A 2.54 ERA for him his last 5 starts. 2 of those were against the Dodgers of all teams. San Diego's offense has woken up. Machado's been hitting the ball, as you said. Tatis is hitting for power now. I think some of their overall season numbers are a little bit overskewed because those guys got off to such bad starts and they've been better lately. Perez is getting hit, 11 earned, 15 hits, 9 walks in his last 3 starts. That's only 13 1/3 innings. I'm going to back San Diego here at a price of even money.
Usually when I do the show with you, it's more action than a John Wick movie. Did you do anything with the home run props? And what Abrams trying for 4 games in a row?
I did. So I do that when things are going well. Things are currently not going well. So when I'm up, I'll have a little bit more fun with the home run props. But maybe I'll find one in some of these games that are about to get going either while we're on the air or when we're done.
Okay. Cleveland, too? They won 7-9?
I consider Cleveland. I don't like Ober on the road. He pitches to too much contact. Yeah. I think Cleveland's offense, like the numbers aren't sexy, but they've got some young guys who are coming through. Bazzana with the homer again the other night. DeLauder, when he's healthy, is amazing. He's just never really available. I like this young Cleveland offense a little bit here. I would look at Ciccone in this spot at minus $1.26.
4-2 Brewers in the 7th. Surprising no score in the 4th between the Nats and Rockies. Seattle leads the Reds 1-0 in the 3rd. Arizona up 1-0 on the 3rd in the Arizona. And no score with the Angels and the Cardinals. It's over. Boy, this is ugly. That bullpen is pathetic. And after such a good start and a solid season, they've lost 10 of 14. Detmers has been money. How strong he's been. Just doesn't get much run support. So there's a lot of games going on. We'll update you with the in-play. We'll talk to Brian Mahoney, a little NBA coming up. Win some, lose some. We'll go out to SEC Media Days with Bruce Marshall. But up next, golf. Jeff Seeley to talk 3M, make his case with some bombs and who he likes coming up with the golf on VSiN. Follow the money, the Sports Betting Network. Paulie and Dustin, the Sirius XM Channel 158, live from Circa Downtown.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Paulie and Dustin, Follow the Money, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Great to catch up with our old friend Bruce Marshall, Gold Sheet and Wager Talk. He's been making the rounds, ACC Media Days and SEC Media Days. He joins us now on the Progressive guest line. How about what Sankey has been talking, Bruce, about this, along with the coaches? You're just reading from the script with this breakaway talk from the NC2A. What'd you make of the ruckus the last 4 days?
Well, I think he's actually playing this really smart because I don't think they really have any intention of breaking away. That would just cause too much commotion. And even if the Big Ten joined them, they'd have to redo a lot of the media deals. I mean, they'd become pariahs. But to just hold that out there as a threat is not a bad idea, because I really think what the SEC doesn't want here is this revenue split, the media deal split. They want, and he shouldn't go along with that. And as Sankey should, and neither should the SEC. That should be a non-starter, and that's part of this Protect the College Act. Is this stuff will all be pooled, but they're not going to go along with that. But I think if the other conferences drop that, and I don't think the Big Ten would be interested in that either, I think Sankey's more amenable to the other things. The other thing, where the playoff is going to go, and that I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I do not think the breakaway stuff is more than just sort of an idle threat by Sankey. But I agree with his strategy. I think I'd play that card too, as long as I can, to get what he really wants, and that's just not having to split any of this media revenue, because SEC, that's not in its best interest, and they shouldn't do that.
Oh, yeah. There's no way they break away. They're so obsessed with the comparison and the inferiority complex they have with the rest of the country. The big thing for this league, they're always trying to pound their chest and prove a point here. When you were down there and there was just a vibe of all these teams walking in the rooms, who stood out as like, this team is way more confident than they thought they'd be when they showed up?
Way more confident than they thought they'd be?
Yeah, just the way they're speaking, the way they're acting, just the presence of either the head coach or some of the players they brought along.
Yeah, I mean, Kirby's kind of like that, with Georgia. There's a little smugness about him, a lot of smugness about him. I mean, I can predict what he's going to say every time he walks up there. But, there's some of that for all of them, but there are some different personalities here. And some guys, I think, I really like John Summerall today. He showed up. There's a lot of new coaches in the league this year. And a bunch of them came from, they came up from the American, Alex Golish yesterday. So they've all got to be a little bit brash like that. But this smugness thing, I think Kirby wins that. One thing today, Coach Saban was here, though, with the SEC Network. That's the first time we've seen him. And he was in the back of the room, and it's like the Pope is here when he's here. Everybody sort of looks at him when he goes by. And he was only there for the morning session today, but he was here, and I think he'll probably be here tomorrow when Lane talks in the morning.
I thought you were going to say Will Stein. How about that answer? Why are you guys going to win? What's the big... Me, he said. I'm going to be... Look at that win total. Not much expected out of Kentucky.
Well, I'll tell you what I did. I had two things on Will Stein. When I first came here on Monday, because he was up on Monday, there was actually a couple Kentucky fans here, and I've never seen any Kentucky fans at these things. And they asked me, they said, could you tell me when Will Stein's going to be walking by? We want to get his autograph. And I said, I'd tell you if I knew what he looked like. Yeah. So I didn't even, at that point, didn't even know. But after I saw him, then I knew. And I thought I know he was brash like that, but why not? Go ahead and say that. Kentucky needs a little brash. And he didn't sound all that arrogant to me. I mean, he was just kind of talking matter-of-factly. But for me, they asked, because we had to vote on this poll, like, who are you voting for to win the league? I said I'm going to vote for Kentucky. One, because that'll prove they are counting my vote. I'm going to be the only guy voting for him. And two, I said, why not? I mean, the guy, he's the only coach here who said we're going to win. I mean, that's like what Ali would have done if he was SEC coach. So what the heck? I have a little fun with it. I'll be the only guy who voted for Kentucky. You'll see that coming out in a couple days. That one vote for Kentucky was me.
Hey, Bruce, a year ago, I had several Notre Dame beat writers on my show. They said Kenny Minchie was going to be the starting quarterback for the Irish last year, that he was outplaying C.J. Carr. C.J. Carr is the Heisman favorite. Who's to say Kenny Minchie can't just show up and do something in Lexington? I saw that John Summerall was talking today, aside from berating reporters about a cell phone going off. Where are you at with the Gators? They bring in Buster Faulkner, who, by the way, I go back to 2005 with at Valdosta State. He does not like me, but he's a brilliant offensive mind. He brings his quarterback, Aaron Philo, from Georgia Tech down to Gainesville. What do you make of what you've heard, what you've seen, what you're looking into with the Gators?
Well, I like bringing Faulkner along more than Philo because I wasn't all that impressed by Philo at Georgia Tech, but they seem to think he can do it. Bringing Faulkner was a good move because they were paying him a lot at Georgia Tech, so that means that they are. Well, we know Florida's serious, but, I mean, he went out there and he obviously had his eye on Faulkner and wanted to bring him in. Having said that, though, it's going to be a little bit before Summerall can get this thing up to speed, though. There is something about the way he talks, and we've seen what he did at Troy, especially Troy, and then at Tulane, too. And even Tulane, when he walked in there, that was pretty much a different team than it was the previous year when Willie Fritz was there and won all those games. He's had a proof of concept to sort of work with Summerall, so I'm willing to give him a little runway here. But this year, we'll have to see what Philo can do because, like I said, he didn't bowl me over at Georgia Tech. I'm not sure he will at Florida either.
What do you expect out of Kiffin in year one?
Kiffin,
yep.
He's coming tomorrow. They're saving him for the last day, so he'll be up in the morning. He's sort of become the star attraction now. It used to be Spurrier, and then it used to be Coach Saban, and now it's sort of Kiffin. I think, though, and we talked about Heisman Trophy a second ago, Sam Levitt might not be a bad long shot vote. Remember, I mean, last year at this time, people thought he could be a first-round NFL pick if he wanted to come out last year. Then he got hurt, and that sort of changed plans. And he had a good coach in Kenny Dillingham. But you put a quarterback like that who can do what Levitt can do with Lane, they could really make some things work. Now, we'll see about up front because it's like all new lines both ways for LSU. But they work in a high stratosphere of the portal and their recruiting. I think Lane will have those guys fighting this year, and I think they could be a team that could be a threat to win the league, especially if Levitt is that good. And he could get in the Heisman race. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Bruce, Texas, second shot on the board to win the league, plus 310. There's no more excuses for Sarkisian. I don't understand the hype behind this guy. I'm not blown away by him, but his roster's loaded. They brought in two awesome running backs. Arch Manning returns. They go and grab a receiver in the portal and Cam Coleman, who's been productive. How far do the Longhorns have to go for him to keep his job, Sarkisian?
At some point, he's going to have to win the whole thing. With the money they spend and the roster, but it still seems like the parts have been greater than the sum at Texas for him, although they're getting closer. I'm still not quite sure, and I'm still not sold on Arch, although Sark's coming tomorrow. I guess he's bringing Arch with him. Last year at this point, Arch was like the Heisman favorite, which was absurd. So I think that's been tamped down a bit. He did play better toward the end of last season, but I'll tell you, I mean, I think he's down the pecking order with a lot of quarterbacks in this league. I don't put him at the top tier, not yet. I didn't see enough from him last year, and I think they're, hitching to that Arch wagon here. I'm not sure. I know the rest of the lineup is good, but Texas has had that sort of lineup like every year. It's time that they step it up, and they don't have a game like they did against Georgia last November when they just didn't show up and they got routed. I mean, that's happened a few times where they've lost these big games with Sark, and I think that's pretty soon. Those Texas X's, they're going to get if they're not mad yet, they're going to get mad soon.
90 seconds, Bruce. You also were at ACC Media Days. Do you have a surprise from that league?
I think there's two. I think Cal will be better because I like Tosh LaPoya, and they got the quarterback they kept him from last year. Watch Boston College. That was a very uncharacteristic sort of a year for them. They had a lot of injuries, quarterback issues. They have brought in a quarterback from Lake Superior State, I think it is, Mason McKenzie, the same league that sent Chambliss to Ole Miss. He can do everything. And I think Bill O'Brien will have BC very competitive this year.
Thank you, my friend. Enjoy your off season. Talk to you soon.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Bruce Marshall from Wager Talk and the Gold Sheet. He was at the SEC and ACC Media Days. Good to catch up with him. Winner Circle Proxy and VSiN are giving away two great prize packages that will put two lucky fans in the world's biggest football contest for free. One winner gets a $1,000 entry into Circa Survivor. Another one will win a $1,000 entry into Circa Millions. Both winners also get a full season Winner Circle proxy service and a free month of VSiN Pro. Enter by Sunday, August 2nd for your chance to win. WinnerCircleProxy.com/VSiN. Enter today. WinnerCircleProxy.com/VSiN. He was a disaster as the OC with the Falcons and couldn't get the ball to Julio Jones.
I don't
and
get
then somehow
this.
we wound up at Alabama and then parlayed that in the USC job and in the Texas job.
Lane Kiffin and Steve Sarkisian getting any credit for what they did under Nick Saban blows my. They're
I
two
know.
so unserious guys.
Totally agree. Absolutely. Do you concur is up next? And I've been saying this for 10 years that the UFC should do this. I think Dustin agrees.
On this show, we follow the money, and when VSiN decided to launch our own store, the smart money was on Shopify. Getting the VSiN store off the ground was easier than we expected, and Shopify's templates and AI tools had us look incredible and professional from day one. Zero coding required. Shopify checkout keeps sales moving smoothly, and returning customers can complete a purchase in one click. Built-in analytics, you always know what's selling and where your customers are coming from and how to keep the momentum going. When questions come up, and they will, Shopify's AI assistant Sidekick is there with answers so you never lose momentum. You can check out the store at vsin.com/store. And if you're ready to build your own, all you need is the idea. Shopify handles the rest. Start your free trial at shopify.com/vsin. Shopify.com/vsin. Again, that's shopify.com/vsin.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Welcome back. Great action today. 17 games, MLB. Red Sox do it again, 15 in a row. Yankees go down in game one of a doubleheader. Cincinnati leads Seattle 5-3 in the ninth. Arizona all over the A's 14-2 in the sixth. And the Nats open it up now 8-0 in the ninth against Colorado. What do you have? You got the Cardinals?
Yeah.
1-0 in the bottom of the seventh. What are you gonna do? Jump in? You gonna lock in a profit? What are you gonna do?
Hopefully no Riley O'Brien situation.
It's amazing how much your mood can change. I had a bad beat. I had under 7.5 live bet on the Yankee game. What are you throwing Ben Rice that pitch?
Yeah.
He's the only hitter in the lineup.
That's he's on fire.
Yeah, you got 3-1 count. I get it, but just put walk bases loaded is fine. And then you get 2 lucky wins or fortunate wins. Mood completely changed.
Absolutely.
All in like a window of like a couple hours.
Yeah, Doug Kazarian joining us. WNBA 2 games final earlier today. You made a good case for Seattle. I mean, they just played, and it came down to the wire, and then Collier was back, and they were catching double digits. And they had the lead at the half.
Yeah, I always make this joke when a player comes in or a player goes out. It's like, just because Collier's playing, they don't get to play with 6 players, right? Someone has to come out of that lineup. Now, she's great and will be amazing and will be an MVP-type player, but there's going to be an adjustment period, and that whole offense for the Lynx is really sort of seamless, right? They're all connected on a string, best coach in the league. So there's definitely going to be some rust or an adjustment period. All the role players who are going to have less usage. Also, it's a bet on Seattle. At home, getting 10.5. The Storm team at full strength, mind you. Even if Melbourne's out, they're not good. But they're pretty good. And they're figuring out how to use Malanga, who's a total weapon.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. So it's the return of a star, fading that team in that spot?
Well, it's part of the equation. I mean, if they're off a loss and in court, then that's different, right? Like they jumped out in the third quarter like a 9-2 run when they were down a point and a half.
Yeah.
You just can't assume that it's going to be peak form.
I bring that up only because last night on VSiN Primetime, Femi and I were sitting here and we started doing the sports betting commandments that we like to turn to, like the situations.
I saw that.
Because I've gotten it to a point where I'm finding those strategies are more successful for me these days than the X's and O's, the matchup that's going to get exploited. Thinking, I know sports, I can win at sports betting. Sandwich spots, someone suggested you guys with the Malinsky special. In the WNBA, is there anything like tried and true that you like to go to routinely?
Well, I actually think the old school NFL ones all apply because this is a league that's relatively new. And I don't say that because of 30 years. It's a newer schedule, right? So most games they started playing was, I think, last year was 44. They have new spotlight, new everything. The media scrums at practice are different. Look what's happening with this Caitlin Clark needle, right? That is like similar to the Tiger Woods. Like the players don't know how to respond to the jealousy they have of all the commercials that they have to watch. That's why the Fever get everyone's best shot. So it's a new league, meaning like a new landscape, if you will. So some of these, it takes certain sort of professional maturity to come off big wins. We're going to have a couple games tonight where there was a big win by the Liberty in overtime against the Wings. And if Paige is out again, like it's going to be a really interesting handicap. That's something you would probably use, I don't know, mid-2000s in terms of handicapping the NFL.
It's the last day before the All-Star break. I do like Chicago, New York over coming up in less than an hour. What do you think? And Chicago's been playing a ton of high-scoring games.
So my favorite play in that game is the Sky team total over.
Okay.
Okay, because they push the pace. They've been pushing pace a lot. And, obviously there's some Skylar Diggins issues, but she's sort of like a methodical, like Andre Miller type, where just kind of pounds the ball and size of the defense. Everyone else just runs. And with Sydney Taylor in the starting lineup, she wants to push pace at a breakneck speed. And I think they can pour it in. And, the Liberty defense is nothing special. Brianna Stewart is, by the way, 35-1 for Defensive Player of the Year if you're looking for a bomber.
All right.
But I also think just like you said, the senioritis of the final day of the regular season before the All-Star break, I think the dogs bark more. Now, it's weird because this game is in Chicago. The weekend is in Chicago for the All-Star. So I don't know if there's like events you have to be worried about. Like there are some senioritis going on. There's definitely some focus that might be lacking.
Sure, excellent. The Aces have been unbelievable off bad losses. Now they take on. They just did that in the last game. Now they're 6.5 tonight against Washington.
I think I'm like 1-46 on my bets with anything involving the Mystics. Side, total, quarter, hat. I don't know what this team. They call themselves the Young Hoes. Because they love it. They're embracing that they're the youngest team in the league. They have all these new pieces, and they do the celebration. They have the W tunnel. They're tripping over each other when there's, that old meme with like Roy Williams dancing in the locker room.
Yeah.
They do that like after every game. They pour water on the coach and things like that. They go bananas. And this is a team that's right on the cusp of the playoffs, and they're really good. They have an excellent front line. Their backcourt's suspect, but when they hit threes, basically Amor is their point guard next to Citron. If she's hitting threes, like I can't win a bet against them or on them, like because they're so inconsistent.
That's my favorite thing to find. Like Martin Perez is pitching today for the Braves. That's my version of that. I'm never on the right side of Martin Perez. I'm never on the right side of Iowa football with Kirk Ferentz. I bet on them, they lose. I bet against them, they crush.
Yeah, my buddy came over that he's the Brett Favre theory. That was the thing. He in like high school and everything, he just couldn't win a bet.
What about the late game? Dallas and Portland. Beckers, I think, is questionable for this matchup, and it's currently Dallas laying 5.5 on the road.
Yeah, I'm going to play the Fire first quarter, first half. It's a really tough place to play, and they're going to come at you. And obviously, Wings, Fudd played the entire second half. They just are kind of thin, and they don't play defense to begin with. I think Portland's going to try to run them off the court. Now, Megan Gustafson, who just got married, so it's Megan DeLay. I don't know if she's playing. I guess she is. She's a stretch 5, so they'll go 5 out, and they can bomb them if there's a, I don't know, lackadaisical defense. By the way, you need a summer sports topic? How does a WNBA player who's making $500,000 get married in the middle of the season and miss 2 games?
Do you understand the fight?
She missed 2 games. None of her teammates got invited.
I'm with you.
Like our college teammates from Iowa, like Caitlin Clark, they weren't invited. It was a Saturday. I understand wanting to get married on a Saturday in the summer.
We don't even play. We don't get married during football season.
So I Googled, did any MLB players get married? You have summer wedding, right? So you got to find a summer sport. So any MLB players, there's been a couple, but they got married during the All-Star break on a Tuesday.
What if you're in the All-Star? That's not a lot of belief in yourself that you're not going to be invited to the All-Star game.
Why didn't she get married? She wasn't going to be an All-Star. Why didn't she get married on this Saturday?
Great point.
But,
you got a whole
who am
offseason.
I was going to tweet about it, but I'm like, oh, everyone's going to come at me because it's a female. I was like, no, I'm criticizing her as an athlete, or at least bringing it up.
Well, what about this?
Yeah,
You just take 2 days off? Like, I don't know.
I'm getting married. I obviously won the battle of no football season. We decided in April. However, I lost the part of the battle where I'm getting married Final Four Saturday. Worthy trade, no football, wait for Final Four Saturday.
That's good.
Doug's like, don't get married.
I don't know.
What are you doing?
You're going to be like Paul and goes, I'll go to the next one, like he told Mitch. He bailed on Mitch's wedding because he said, I'm going to go to the next one.
I know.
16 years
I know.
going, or whatever it is, 14 years.
Vaccaro gave him a year and a half with the prop. He can't believe
Bad
it.
number.
Yeah, bad number. Is Caitlin Clark playing? It's off the board at DraftKings.
She's questionable, right? She's questionable.
Yes.
By the way, Sabrina Ionescu, it's been announced, this league, by the way, is this commissioner's got to go. They should fire her this weekend with the spotlight.
Yeah.
Sabrina Ionescu, they said she declined the 3-point contest like Caitlin Clark. Well, it just came out. I can't decline an offer I never officially got invited to.
Stop.
So I was pretty surprised to see that.
This
They can't get out of their own way. So,
I thought Rob Manfred hated baseball. It's a Kathy Engelhard. Is that her
Yeah,
name?
yeah.
She hates the
Yeah.
W. She hates the league. She's praying to get fired.
I spent a good 30 minutes to see if there was some dark web story on why she was previous to this, she was the CEO at Deloitte
Is this a
for
punishment?
4 years. Oh, no, I'm just curious. Like, was she an idiot there, and they kind of like gave her a nice exit? How did she become a CEO at Deloitte? Like, that's my other question.
That's fair.
She was only there 4 years, so I wondered if
Yeah.
there was in some financial markets newspaper or something that there's some
Yeah.
backstory that I'd be very interested in, because she's been so inept from the start. And this is another example. Again, this is what I was talking about, a new landscape. This is a new league, so much spotlight. The broadcasts are terrible. Last week with Mitch, when I was talking to him about it, it's just the coddling they do on the broadcast. So get this. Up 1, they get the rebound like 5 seconds ago, 8 seconds ago, they get fouled. So if you make both, you're up 3. There was probably that communication. Do you foul on defense? Well, they missed the second free throw. So it was a 2-point game, and there's one of the players is literally like waving to the ref trying to foul at halftime, at half court. So they fouled her, and they made both free throws. We go to overtime. The announcers didn't once criticize it. Remember the meme of J.R. Smith not knowing the score and everything? No mention of it. The recaps, no mentioning it. The coddling of the players is insulting to the audience, and it makes us want to think less of this league, because there are great plays, there are great highlights, there are great players, there are great coaching moments. So when you don't call out the bad ones, look, it happens. Everyone's, every league has a guy who's, baseball guys who don't know how many outs or whatever it is.
If
They just coddle them, and that's what brings the disrespect on themselves.
if you're gonna do anything, there's criticism. There can't be no criticism in a sports league.
And you're not calling a player dumb. They did a dumb thing, right?
Yeah.
It was a dumb moment. Like, it doesn't mean the player. But again, some of the broadcast team are greener. It's just now they're in the spotlight, and everything's heightened, and everyone's getting defensive, and this is where the scrutiny comes. And then obviously the Caitlin Clark effect on all the ratings and the eyeballs are obviously interesting as well.
When did you cash at Circa Millions? 2 years ago?
2023.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it was T14.
Okay. Wow. Circa Survivor.
One play away from 6 figures more.
Yeah, it doesn't keep you up at night at all, huh?
The swing pass from Minshew on that Colts game where the winner got to the playoffs on that Saturday night,
I dropped the ball.
and he threw it on the back hip.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, brutal.
In fairness, Jalen Hurts probably would have done the same. If it makes you feel.
I did have the Bucks against the Carolina Panthers on Sunday, and there was like the holding that brought back a touchdown, and then there was another drop. So I went 1-1 in those crazy games.
The Circa Survivor documentary's back for another season. This one's bigger than ever. Helmuth, Maddox, Meatball Brothers tonight. 7 all-new episodes kick off every Wednesday starting tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. Episode 1 takes you inside the growth of the contest. Now with $18.7 million on the line and the new Grandissimo, $100,000 to get in. And whether you play Circa Survivor yourself or love the drama of the season-long grind, must-watch TV. It's well done. Check it out every Wednesday starting tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern on vsin.com. Indecision, day 23. What happens with LeBron? And a question we're asked a lot, how about a guy who used to work for the company? He can answer. What has happened to ESPN?